Like me, I'm sure many of you have experienced or have heard about the dumpster fire that is Windows 11. From the sloppy workarounds of getting Explorer to actually run properly, just a file browser, to them throwing AI in your face even if you just don't give a damn. Now, I'm in a fortunate position that my main gaming rig, this one right there, is not the machine I use day to day. I actually use a Mac, which is for recording and editing and all the rest of that kind of media production stuff. So you might know I upgraded my PC recently, which meant a new motherboard, meant a new CPU, and I upgraded it to the brim. And I actually installed 2 SSDs. And again, I'm glad I got those before those are going up now as well, in case you didn't know. One to install Windows and one to install Linux. And I went with Mint. So here we are in potentially my new home for gaming. And I say potentially because I have a list. These are the things I need to work, and there's a little bonus section as well. Basically, I want the games that I play on a regular basis to work. And the bonus category is not games I play constantly, but it's games that like a little bit maybe broader or smaller or unique that I hope will work because it just means the light at the end of the tunnel. Praise the Steam Deck as much as I think it's a little too big for a portable. This has really granted us the ability to have Linux as a proper primary dedicated gaming platform. Well, that was way too easy. I haven't touched setting up my controller. I accidentally just pressed the trigger as I picked it up. Also seemingly connected. This is kind of mental. This is a Ubisoft game. A Ubisoft game with some like kind of anti-cheat involved because it has a ranking system. It has the grand race, which they want to stop cheating, and I'm playing it. Now, this game is locked to 60 no matter what, and that's going to be, well, interesting to talk about a little bit later. But mate, I'm playing it on, like, this is possible on the Steam Deck. This is possible on any GPDs or on ROG Allies or whatever you run a Linux distribution. And I know to a lot of people this would be like, oh, this is kind of nothing for you. Listen, this is not. Valve, the company behind Steam, is working on something that's absolutely huge, which again, we'll talk a little bit later, but basically they're going to replicate what they've done here to even more platforms. Just to keep this real, it has just crashed as I paused the game. It was going all right. Now, this is relatively new because this game just didn't work previously, and again, this was because of anti-cheat, but then they announced that it was coming to Steam Deck on their most recent event. You might remember that, which essentially means your Steam Deck will be able to play it, and so will basically any Linux distribution. And here we are. Oh no, I forgot I did that to the wheels. You have no idea how much I've kind of wanted to do this. There are so many issues with Windows that just keep building up over... Hang on. Thank you very much. That just keep building up and up and up, and I'm pretty much almost done with it, to the point where now I'm willing to accept one major problem I have in getting this to actually run in the way that I like. Again, more will be revealed as we progress through this video, but a hint is my input feels a little bit slower. What's a terrible display, but nonetheless, I'm completing a race, my first race on my Linux Mint distribution. So the crashing that I had a minute ago was when I opened this menu, and now it's working, and it's actually getting faster over time the more I just kind of reopen the same things. This is the thing. When you're playing these games on Linux, what you're actually doing is translating from one language to another, essentially, to get it to work. Microsoft has a monopoly on the industry. We know this, obviously. But you can head to websites like this, ProtonDB, and they basically tell you if the game works or not. And for the most part, as you can see recently, this has been working. And you have to change to the different version for compatibility purposes. As you can see, I am now using Proton Experimental, and it worked fine. By default, it'll be using something else. Okay, that's crossed off the list. That's pretty good. That was one of the main ones as to why I couldn't, because the others, they're less secure. They don't really bother with anti-cheat, or they have reduced their anti-cheat. Whatever. Okay, Need for Speed just works. Yeah, I kind of didn't expect this. I mean, it's EA. They of course, Battlefield. They got some crazy security that essentially means I can't run Battlefield on this distribution, but I don't play that damn game. There are very few games cropping up that I can't play. There is one glaring issue. Let's see if I can show you. The Steam overlay doesn't work on this game. I definitely didn't disable that. Where's my taskbar? Minor things. The game works. Here's the problem. Don't like that number. Because of my situation, my setup that I have, this system is locked to 60, 4K 60, or 1440p 120 if I want to, which is a little frustrating. It feels limiting compared to Windows, but Windows is a little bit more lenient when it comes to dynamic kind of scaling. It's to do with... The sound went there for a second. The first time I'm driving over here, right? I gotta build them shaders on that. I do have a potential fix for this, but it does require me to buy a new monitor, which I don't really want to do right now because I like this. It's 4K 120, 4K 144. Why would I want to upgrade it? Luckily for me, the actual visual kind of gameplay when it comes to games, I'm going to say it, I don't really care too much about the difference between 60 and 120. The input, I can definitely tell. I'm now used to it. Also, I'm a little bit weird. The desktop environment, I need high refresh rate on my phone, on my desktop. But when it comes to actual gameplay, I'm absolutely happy to just rock at 60. But man, I want the input of 120. I've been ruined. Don't go 120. It is a mistake. But what this gets us to is ultimately every Need for Speed modern should work, and all the games are generally fine, right? We'll have to try that at some point, but that hopefully means as long as they keep kind of most things the same, we should be able to play the next Need for Speed on here with my new monitor eventually. And maybe before the next Need for Speed, I'll treat myself. What I really want is a proper OLED monitor. No QD OLED. No, I don't want my monitor to be purple. I want a black. So I'm waiting for LG to do a 27-inch 4K OLED monitor. LG, chop. Got things to do, pixels to peep. Pretty terrible run, but I'm satisfied with the thought that I can now happily move Need for Speed across from Windows. Now, this next one might be difficult. So I have gigabit networking, but as you can see, this is not really running at that. What seems to happen is obviously it's doing shader compilation as the game is downloading. And essentially that means that from when launching the game and also playing the game and downloading the game, things do seem to take a little bit longer. Significantly longer. I would be playing an hour ago if this was Windows. So that is something to think about. It's just an unfortunate side of the coin. You know what I'm saying? I could play something else while I wait. Oh, wait. It'll pause the download. Maybe there's a way to change that. Aha! I'm stupid. It's right there. All right. In that case, we'll get to the bonus titles while we wait for this big behemoth game to download. It may affect the performance of the other games, but this next one will probably perform terribly anyway. If it performs at all. It doesn't remember my settings because that's a per system thing. So I'm just going to leave it as it is, but it's running, well, basically as you would expect Test Drive to run. Wait, do I have... It is worth noting, the worst way to play games on Linux is using an NVIDIA GPU. And I use an NVIDIA GPU. Do I have like DLSS or something? I think I'm gonna need... Oh, I do. That's good. That means I'm getting 45 frames while running DLSS. This is a bit weird. On Windows, when I like enable and disable... Oh, I just realized my mic is... Hello. When I enable and disable the voice chat, it like lags for a second. It doesn't do that here. That's weird. Right, drive the Bugatti. And yeah, we're stuck at about 40 frames. Remember that there's some caching going on in the background. So like, fair play. I'll probably get a little bit more. The performance, usually you can see some games perform better, some perform as well, some perform worse. It's kind of a mixed bag, but I found that most games perform a little bit better. And that might ultimately just be because, you know, it's not as bulky and heavy, but also some like optimizations because Valve. But the fact that this is running, they had anti-cheat and then they removed it, I think, in an update. So that's probably partly why. Let's just put it down to medium and see what do we get. 42. There was one new setting I changed on my own video. I need to go back and figure it out. But I'm not going to play this damn game. It's just the fact that proof of concept, it worked. Bro, I go down to 30. Oh, I just got back up to 40. All right, that's a little bit nicer. You know, Steam Deck performance. That's what you'd target. Hey, this was one I didn't expect. Did they remove the anti? I think they must have. Look, if we keep crossing off all of the list, if we cross off all the list, maybe I do deserve a new monitor. But unfortunately, that monitor doesn't exist yet. So... LG, come on. See, this is the alternative. Oh, I clicked off it. It does the shaders just before you launch it. This is running really quick. The crew took a while. So the preferred method, would it be during download? Would it be after? I think they're both shit. But this is going quick. This is good. It's a smaller game. This was a pretty interesting one. The game just does that anyway. Just ignore it. Whoa! Is my controller gonna work? Okay, the inputs on not working. My overlay is not working. But I am using... It's clearly the Steam stuff is just not working. Carx tree is working. This is something they did recently. They made it work. I'm trying to use a PlayStation controller right now, and it's just not doing Steam input. Fine. But this is running great. This was actually something I complained about when I was running Linux or the Steam Deck and trying to get Carx to work. Come on. And then they added macOS support as well, which has just blew my mind. So this game is playable literally everywhere. Apple Silicon, ARM. I mean, it works on damn mobile. It works on your PC. It works on your portables. Everywhere. So I kind of didn't expect this one to not work. It works. Man, I can't drive on keyboard. How do people do that? You are gods, ultimately. It would help if I enabled the Steam input. Is it per game? What the hell? Right. Anyway, list. Cross-F Carx Street. Easy. Nice. Mafia the Old Country. My game of the year thus far. I mean, it's pretty much the end of the year now, so I could probably just say it's my game of the year. Yeah, this is flawless. I already actually managed to play this on my Win 4, so that would kind of make sense because, you know, I'm using Linux on that as well. See if I can play around with my settings a little bit. We got the anti-aliasing and upscaling. Yeah, we definitely need DLSS on this. It is a bit of a beast. Bloody Unreal Engine. There you go. We're going up to like 70 odd frames. Yeah, this is sick. Oh man, I need that 120. You know what? I really need to bite the bullet, but there's no monitor on the market. Come on, please. We need to do this. We need to get it done. I've tried changing some bits, EDID. I've tried everything. I've done it all. I've broke my my visuals many times. But this is going great. I just need to enable VSync because it's tearing a little bit. I hate frame gen. Why do we have to use frame gen? I hate you, NVIDIA. Screw you. Oh my God, lady, I'm sorry. Another one. Well, that leaves one game. I didn't quite expect this to be this easy. Some people said they had issues signing in, but it seems that I'm fine. Optimizing for my PC. Does anyone else see this every single time you open the game? You don't do that many updates. Come on, it's been like a year, right? Oh, also worth noting, the only game that I had to adjust which Proton version it was running was The Crew. Everything else has kind of run, well, basically flawlessly. Some things do crash when you tab out, like Need for Speed did that, but most other games are seemingly fine. And it's not like EA's actually done any work to get this stuff to run. They've kind of done the opposite with Battlefield. So, future holds good things, especially with the GameCube coming. Yes, this is also a problem. Mostly for Forza Horizon 5. You might notice, basically, I have no money or progression. Yes, this is basically at the start of the game. I don't want to select anything. Oh, I haven't even played the update on the Steam version. Basically, Microsoft gave me a Windows key when the game first came out, not a Steam key, which means I didn't have my save game on. There's no cross. So I won't be playing this, but FH6, you know, which means I can't play my normal save game on Linux. I would have to switch to Windows to play it, or Xbox. There's always going to be reasons I have to go back. Always. And that's just the unfortunate side of it. No, no, no. Go away. Go away. As you can imagine, because this is honestly like one of the most flawlessly running games to exist, and it doesn't have ray tracing bollocks out the arse that is demanded. This thing runs really good. It's solid 60 right now, and I'm sure if I unlock it, because it's probably locked it by default. Okay. VSync. Show FPS. Is there... What? Hello? Can you let me, like... Aha! There we go. That's better. Beautiful. It's flawless. Perfect. Solid. And we'll see how the next game runs. I guess that would be... I should probably run Motorsport to see. I need to turn off frame gen. That is hateful. Who the hell needs frame gen on Forza Horizon 5 anyway? So that is everything. Checked off my list, which means I owe myself an OLED monitor, a WOLED monitor, which doesn't yet exist at 27 inches. I would have to go 32, and it wouldn't fit on my desk. I mean, maybe I'd put... No! 27, it's better. So thanks for coming along with me today as I figure out if I can use Linux as my day-to-day driver. And I mean, yes, if I could bear 60 frames. One kind of final piece of the puzzle is this that's coming out soon, the Steam frame. Now, this I don't really care about very much, but more so the intent and what this means going forward. Just like Valve did with x86 translation to get it over to Linux to run on Steam Decks and to run on whatever you want to run it on. Linux is just blown up because of this. Like, back in the day, I used Ubuntu, and ultimately it was just impossible to play games. We're talking like probably like 15 plus years ago at this point is when I tried it, which sounds kind of crazy, but I couldn't do it. If I wanted to play games, I couldn't do it. But anyway, as part of this headset is the new translation layer for ARM, which means your portables, your phones, your Mac devices should surely benefit from Valve investing in getting the translation layer to work on their headset. So this is it's almost like I want to support the device just because of that. I don't actually care about the VR headset that much myself, but can you imagine? We're so close. If I was on one machine, one computer, this computer, and I recorded on the same machine, I mean, OBS is the software I use to record, stream. OBS works fine. DaVinci Resolve is what I use to edit content. I'd be able to do that. Photoshop doesn't work, but I mean, as I say, I don't really need to do that creative stuff on here, but it really feels like this is finally at the point where you could just fully bin off Windows as long as you don't play Battlefield or you have a console. Realistically, if you have a console and this PC to do the rest of the stuff and most of the gaming, I think you're kind of there. GTA is another one that doesn't really work, the online aspect of it, and I'm sure GTA 6 is going to be the same, but it's not like GTA 6 will launch on PC at first anyway, so they've got some time to make it work. TikTok, you want my money again? You're gonna have to make the game work. I'd still buy it anyway, really, wouldn't I? Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and yeah, I'm part of the crew now, just at 60 frames, so I'll probably use both for a little bit. LG, please. WOLED, 27-inch, 4K, please. I just want 120. That's it. I don't care about 500 frames a second. Come on.